Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dan Blanchard with the Travel and Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history, with leadership, and of course with me, Dan Blanchard. Today I am in Vermont, at Montpelier, Vermont. This is one of the oldest and best preserved state capitals in the United States. We're talking back like 1859, right? Now, what's really interesting that most people don't realize about Vermont is that Vermont used to be a republic. Yeah, like an independent country for a while. It kind of makes me think of like Texas, how Texas was like that independent country before it joined the United States. Well, Vermont was the same way. Also, the American Revolution, the American Revolutionary War played a huge role in this area and in the name of this place, right, Montpellier. All right, there was, I guess you could say there was like a Francophilia sort of thing going on when they named Montpellier here after the Montpellier with two L's, right, which is a city in the south of France. They kind of named it after, I guess you could say. It was like a little nod to the international alliance that made American independence possible. Remember, England had the best military in the world, right? We were going to need some help in that war, okay? Now, Montpelier is the United States' smallest capital. Only 8,000 people live here. It's the smallest capital. However, during a work day like this, what you're seeing, you'll see about 21,000 people in this city today. But typically 8,000, and it's the smallest state capital in the United States. Now, the government used to kind of move around. They'd go from city to city to city, and that's where they were doing. Then at some point, they said, we can't keep doing that. So they settled here, and they said, listen, this is kind of centrally located. It's got the Winooski River right here, which is great for transportation. Let's just make it here, right? And you can imagine, like early days, obviously this was a frontier settlement, right? And the river transportation was important. So they stopped moving the capital around from place to place in Vermont and just left it here. So this is where it's going to be, right? Now, if you look around here, this is like totally a small town feel. They fiercely protect their independence in small town feel. There's no McDonald's. It's the only state capital in the United States that doesn't have a McDonald's. There's no highways running through here. There's no major universities. This is like small town feel 100% of the way. All right, 100% of the way, small town feel. Now, sadly though, these guys are uniquely vulnerable to flooding. Okay, there was the Great Flood in 1927. Everything like destroyed everything. Then 100 years later almost, in July of 2023, terrible rainfalls flooded the Winooski River again and it ran over its banks. It was terrible flooding, destroyed everything. But these guys, they just keep fighting back, right? They just keep fighting back. They're preserving themselves, preservation. They just keep fighting back, right? So you got what used to be like a logging community, right, is still here today. It's shifted. Right, it's shifted. It's kind of into like government. But government's a big thing, right? Insurance jobs are a big thing here. But this place is still here. You know, still looks a little bit like it's old, which it is, right? But they've shifted to government jobs, insurance jobs. They have a really cool open government here. You could just walk right in anytime you want, and just see what the government's doing here, right? They're very progressive. Bernie Sanders is pretty close to here, right down the road there in Burlington, Vermont. That's kind of how they roll here. And they believe in having an open, transparent government. You can walk in anytime you want and sit in and see what they're doing, okay? Now, you know, when I do my Travel and Time with Dan show, I like to mix travel with history, with leadership. If you have not been down here to Montpelier, Vermont, definitely come down, check it out. This small town feel. It's a really cool old city here. You definitely check it out. History, I've just given you a little bit of the history. And now, what's the leadership? Well, the leadership, I believe, is this. You ready? Here we go. Real leadership is accessible, not distant. It's accessible. Here, citizens can walk right in and observe their government, what their government's doing, anytime they want. All right? That's great leadership. Transparency like that's great leadership, all right? Well, anyways, hey, thank you for spending time with me today at the Travel and Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history and with leadership. And of course with me, Dan Blanchard. I'm going to be back real soon with another great show and another great location. And until then, Take care and keep enjoying and traveling in time with history and with me, Dan. Take care. Bye.